What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fight Out podcast with me, El. Today, we're going to be talking about the very viral recent clip of Dustin Poirier. And for me, it's very interesting to kind of juxtapose that with Conor McGregor and kind of the roles that they've almost swapped with each other simultaneously. There's a little bit of irony to it. Dustin Poirier, when he was fighting, was very critical of Conor McGregor for obvious reason. Doesn't like him again for obvious reason. And now, as Conor's come back into fighting, Dustin has almost become what Conor did to an extent, and we're going to dive into it. Now, Conor McGregor has been on a spiritual journey, he said himself. I've seen people online saying he's been doing ayahuasca therapy in Mexico or some kind of psychotherapy in Mexico. I don't know what he's been doing, but he's definitely been doing something. He's talking different. As he said to Ariel Helwani, he is different. He is completely, 180 degrees difference in comparison. In fact, that's the same, isn't it? But you get what I mean. He's done a full differentiation from when he most recently fought Dustin Poirier, which is his last fight inside of the UFC. Now, the contrast from Conor struggling with alcohol and Dustin struggling with alcohol, like I said, is almost ironic. In that video, it almost looked like he could have been on a little bit more than alcohol as well, if I'm being honest. I'm not here to, shit on anyone, knock a man while he's down or while a man's going through a bad time. I'm also not here to excuse his actions. At the end of the day, he's throwing racial slurs about he's having a go at police officers. In America, I was under the assumption that all police officers carry guns. Not just what's it called, the stun gun things. I thought they actually carried guns. That could have been a whole lot worse. I'm not here to excuse it or anything else. I'm just here to judge Dustin's mental state, the psychology behind it, and just talk about the situation. The purpose of this video is that I've made an observation, and it's crazy to me that it's almost flipped on its head now, contrasting. And in the words that Dustin said, karma's not a bitch, she's a mirror. He doesn't like Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, for obvious reason. Conor talked about his wife. They fought together 3 times. Conor said a lot of shit to him. Spun on his head, said some stuff about the hot sauce, said he's going to get walked like a dog, he's going to kill him inside the octagon. For very good reason, Dustin Poirier does not like Conor McGregor. And after the fight with Conor, when Conor had his leg broken, the carry on out of Dustin, completely justified in my opinion, absolutely justified. But one line always stuck out to me, what he said, where he said, karma's not a bitch, she's a mirror. And at the time, I remember thinking, I wouldn't have, brought karma into this or anything like that. And I think now there's a kind of irony that obviously Conor's had his very public struggles with substance abuse, whether he's admitting it or not. It's been out there for all of us to see. We've seen him in interviews. It's now very ironic that Dustin Poirier is now on the flip side to that, and Conor McGregor is in camp for a fight on International Fight Week, making his return to the UFC, talking about how he is, a changed man. He's now got married. He's got more kids now than when he previously fought as well. Fighters psychologically are just so interesting to me. They're so complicated, like more so than a regular person with a regular job, because obviously, look, they've all got a screw loose. The thought of going in and fighting inside an octagon actually really appeals to me in terms of, I'd love to do it to kind of experience what it's like, but to do it as a career and put your body on the line, put your health on the line, put your pride on the line as well, is just such an interesting thing. Dustin now is struggling with an identity crisis psychologically, because now he is no longer that. Now he is retired. Now, he said even before he retired, he was worried about what was to come. He needs to stay busy. He's a danger to himself when he's not fighting, with the actual words that he said. And he sounds like now he is in the position that Conor McGregor was in when he didn't have fighting, whether it was post-Alvarez. Post-Alvarez, when Conor McGregor was in Liverpool, obviously where I'm from, there was a lot of stories and a lot of videos going around at that time that have since been scrubbed from the internet as far as I can see. And there was a lot of shit that he got up to that weekend, let me tell you that. Obviously, the woman come out about him apparently babying the child and stuff like that, but there was a lot more voice notes and videos and text messages and WhatsApp groups. Some of it may not have been true. Some of it is actual video that I've seen with my own eyes, so I know that it was true. And it was, it was very interesting to say the least. And that was Conor without fighting, on the way, by the way, to fighting Floyd Mayweather. Then he fights Floyd Mayweather, and like he said, he clocked the game. He was 27 years of age. He had all the money in the world. He was a 2-weight world champion. He just made God knows how much for fighting Floyd, and he got lost He got lost in the game. He walked away from it, and he was gone for a while. I remember John Kavanagh saying on an interview with Ariel Helwani that, at that time before he come back to fight Khabib, it was on the build up to the Khabib fight that John Kavanagh had actually done the interview. And he said that Conor McGregor definitely got to the edge and peeled out, was I think the phrase that he used, which was interesting to me at the time, because this was just before he fought Khabib. And I thought, okay, maybe he is, actually back. After Khabib, same thing, Conor goes missing, he's not fighting, he's getting up to all sorts, you're seeing all sorts of rumours. And after Poirier too, he's been all over the place in interviews. It's been sad to see at times for someone that was so electrifying, who dwarfed the sport, who took the sport to new levels. It was very sad to see. And without fighting, I think Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier are more similar than probably either one of them likes to admit. They're a danger to themselves. And that video with Dustin was sad. It was more than sad. I was very uneasy watching it. Obviously, he had the racial slur. He was calling, the stewardess women hoes, stuff like that. Bang out of order, stuff that you can't say at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. You don't get away with saying stuff like that if you're a normal person. If that police officer is not standing in front of Dustin Poirier and it's a man squaring up to him, I'm not thinking for 1 second he doesn't get stunned or shot if he's got an actual gun. Dustin is probably lucky that he is who he is, and that police officer knew who he was. Otherwise, that situation could have escalated and got a whole lot worse very, very quickly. And this is a common thing with fighters. I seen Luke Thomas actually do a video about this as well, and he was mentioning fighters and stuff like that. One that he didn't mention was Tyson Fury. So Tyson Fury, after he fought Vladimir Klitschko, went off the rails. He was addicted to drugs. He was addicted to alcohol. He tried to kill himself apparently on a few occasions, stuff like that. And while Tyson doesn't have any known scandals, it's very similar to what you're seeing with Dustin Poirier, in my opinion, and what we've seen with Conor McGregor as well. Conor actually touches on this in his very recent Paramount Plus interview with Stephen A. Smith Jr., the kid who's getting a lot of stick for how he's actually approached the interview. I see what he was trying to do, but it was very Stephen A. Smith-like, in my opinion. Where Stephen A. Smith, excuse me, sir, that just happened to you. Talking about McGregor getting knocked out when he was fighting Poirier for the third time. But yeah, Conor touches on it in that interview where he says he got lost. And Dustin Poirier right now is probably in that same field where he is lost. And it could actually take, ironically, someone like Conor McGregor reaching out to him and saying, listen, this is what I'm doing. This is how I've kind of overcome it, if you will, or somebody else, but it would be ironic if it was Conor and helping him kind of through it. Like I've said, this does not excuse what Poirier did or said. This channel, for me, is obviously, a hobby that I'm building. And the whole point of this is to think about fighters' mindsets and look into fighters psychologically, and also make some predictions about what's going on in terms of matchups, and also talk about what's happening in the fight world. That's it. I'm not here to make judgments or, say this is that or this is this. I just think Poirier was very, very lucky that he is who he is, and that police officer knew who he was. Otherwise, that could have been a whole lot worse. And it is sad to see. I really do hope that he gets the help that he needs. But I think psychologically, fighters, when they stop fighting, they're not like us. That they haven't gone through the mundane of real life. They've always been in fight camps and stuff like that. And I used to say, yeah, but we go to work every day, we do our job every day and stuff like that. I do think it is different when you've got a dream that you're chasing. So your dream is to become UFC world champion. And, now that can no longer happen. I do think that actually played into why this happened on Father's Day. Call me crazy. I don't think I am. But Justin Gaethje has just become lightweight champion the week before. And the week after, you see a video of Dustin Poirier going off the rails in the airport, throwing the M-word about, calling women the H-word. I think it is definitely related to the fact that he's seen Justin Gaethje, a man who he has beaten in the past, a man that he rematched and got head kick knockout by, a man that he said he's happy for and stuff like that. I think deep down, it's probably eating at Dustin a little bit. He's thinking, he has done what I could never do. I didn't quite get to that mountaintop. Had an unbelievable career, Dustin Poirier. Almost done everything that he set out to do, but he did not hold the ultimate gold belt. Justin Gaethje, like I said, a man who he's beaten in the past, just won it this weekend. And I think that will have played into what happened in the airport. I think he's probably, don't know where he was going. He said he was away with the lads, didn't he? He was probably going on a bit of a piss up with the lads. Didn't quite make it. out of the airport. You know, he had some stuff going on mentally. Maybe that was why he was getting away, because he was, you know, his head was wrecked with what was going on. But either way, I think everyone can agree it is sad to see. The man needs help, and fair play to him for coming out and saying, look, I need help. I'm going to be working on it, this and that. I think racially, it can't be happening. You know, speaking to women like that, it cannot be happening. The pair of those things are bang out of order. I don't want to knock a man when he's down, but I think